Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll start with section 1.3 with the title of Graphs of Linear Equations. The objectives of this lesson are, at the end of this section, you should be able to plot points on a graph paper given their coordinates, sketch a line by finding the coordinates of 2 points on the line. This is what we call the coordinate system, Cartesian coordinate system or rectangular coordinate system. This coordinate system consists of the x-axis, this horizontal line or arrow, we call it x-axis, and we have also a vertical axis, we call it y-axis. So both of x-axis and y-axis will be drawn on a piece of paper, especially a graph of paper. They will intersect each other at one point. We call it the origin of the coordinate system. This coordinate system is used to identify the location of points on the system. So each point on this graph paper or each point on this system is labeled by two numbers, like these two numbers, -4 and 2. They are separated by a comma and written inside bracket like this, open brackets like this. So each point will be labeled by two numbers. The left side number, -4, is called the x coordinate of the point. The right side number is called the y coordinate of the point. So each point has two coordinates, x and y coordinates. These two coordinates will be only for this point. You will not find any other point that has the same set of coordinates similar to these. That's why these coordinates describe only this point. If you change the location of the point to this location, the coordinates will be changed. You will have two different numbers. The same thing for this point with the coordinates 1, -5. There will be two different coordinates. So, yeah. So any point will be described by two coordinates, x and y. Let's say this point with the coordinates x and y. How to identify these values of x and y? Well, you have to start from the origin. You have to move along the x-axis until you reach x value, and then you go up in the y direction until you reach the corresponding value of y. For example, if you want to determine the values of x and y, the coordinates of this point, then x is above the value 3, above the number 3. So x will be equivalent to 3, and y is adjacent to the value of 4. And this is the way we identify the coordinates of this point. On the other hand, if the coordinates are given to us like this point, -4 and 2, how to locate this point on the coordinate system? We start from the origin and we move to the left side because x is negative. So the left side is for the negative values. So we move along the negative side of the x-axis until we reach -4, and then we stop. And then the value of y coordinate is 2. 2 is positive, so we have to go up because up is for the positive values of y until we reach 2. Okay, opposite to the value of y, which is equivalent to 2, and then we will stop. So this is the location of the point with the coordinates -4 and 2. So always, if x is positive, then we have to start from the origin, move to the right side along the x-axis. If the x value is negative, then we start from the origin and we move along the negative side of the x-axis. If the y coordinate is positive, then we start from the origin and go up along the y-axis. And if the y coordinate is a negative number, then we start from the origin and go down along the negative y-axis. Okay, let's have this example. What is the coordinate of the points? Here we have the points A, B, C, D, E on the coordinate system, and we want to label each of them. Okay, so for the first point, if you start point A, if you want to find the coordinates of point A, we have to start from the 0, from the origin, and move along the positive x-axis until we reach to a point just below A. Okay, or what you do is, another method might be easier for you, is from point A, you need to draw okay, you need to draw a vertical line that will like this line, a vertical line, and another line that is and another. Okay, so these two lines, you can see this line goes to x equals to 2, and the other line goes to y equals 3. So you can see here the vertical line goes to x equals 2. So these are the coordinates of point A, 2 and 3. Now for the point B, right? B, then we can, here is point B. Yeah. So we will go down, and then for the y value, okay, so these are the values of x and y. So we will have x is -1 and y is 4. Okay, now for the point C, we'll do the same thing, and you will find that the coordinates are -3 and -1. For the point D, also you draw these lines, and you will get x is equivalent to 3 and y equals to -2. For point E, x is equivalent to 5, but y equals to 0, because we did not move up or down. So the point lies on the x-axis. So these are the coordinates of the 5 points. Okay. Now here we have to plot the following points on a graph paper. So let's together identify these points with the green color. Okay, so the first point, point 2 and 5. Okay, if we want to identify it, what we will do is we'll start from the origin and we move until 2. Okay, and then from 2 we'll move up until we reach 5. So this is the point with the coordinates of 2 and 5. Okay, so if you draw the vertical line, you will go to x equals 2, and the horizontal line you will go to y equals to 2. The point 1 and 3, then you start from the origin, go along the x-axis until you reach to 1, and then from 1 go up along the y-axis until you reach to 3. So this is the point with the coordinates 1 and 3. Now for the third point, 0 and 1, 0 means you stay at the origin. You don't move to the right and left along the x-axis. This is the 0 for x, and for y it's 1, then you go up until you reach y equals 1. So the coordinates of the point will be 0 and 1. Okay. Okay. Now for -2 and -3 means you start from the origin, you go along the negative x-axis until you reach -2, and then you go down until you reach -3. For -3 and -5, you go to the left side until -3, and then you go down until you reach -5. So this is -3 and -5. So this is the way we identify the locations of the point in the coordinate system and their coordinates. Now the equation, the general equation of a straight line, takes the form a multiple of x plus a multiple of y equals a number. So if we use the symbol a for the coefficient of x, and the symbol b for the coefficient of y, and the symbol c for the constant, then the general form of the linear equation will be ax plus by equals to c. Here we are talking about the linear equation of two variables, x and y. And we said linear equation because the power of x is 1 and the power of y is 1. So this linear equation gives a relation between two variables, x and y. Okay, and the general form of this equation is given by this form, ax plus by equals c. A, b, and c are real numbers. A is called the coefficient of x, that is the number multiplied by x. B is called the coefficient of y, that is the number multiplied by y, and c is the constant. So if we keep ax plus by to the left side and c to the right side, this is called the general form of the straight line or the linear equation. Why we call this equation linear equation? Because if we graph y versus x, you will get a straight line. So the graph of y versus x will be a straight line. That's why the relation is called linear equation. So now we will learn how to graph such a line. So let's have this example. Sketch the line 3x plus 2y equals to 6. So this is a linear equation where we have two variables, x and y. Normally, to sketch any line, we need only 2 points on the line. So if we know the coordinates of 2 points that lie on the line, then we'll be able to draw the straight line or sketch the straight line. So let's solve this example. So the first thing we should do is we need to find the 1 point on the line, the first point on the line. And to do so, what you need to do is substitute x by 0 and then find the corresponding value of y. So if we put x equals 0 in this equation, then 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 6. And if we follow the steps that we learned in the previous classes when we talked about solving linear equation of one variable, then you will get y equals to 3. Then you have to draw this table with 3 columns. The first one is for the x coordinate, and the second column is for the y coordinate, and the third one is for the both coordinates x and y. Then you have to write the values of x and y now. When we assumed x equals 0, the value of y was calculated as 3. Okay. If somebody says y, we choose 0, just for simplicity, to make it simple. You can choose any value, you can assign any value to x. But to make the calculation very simple for us, we assume x equals 0. So by doing so, we managed to find the first point that lies on the line. Why? How do we know that this point lies on the line? Because we use the equation of the line to substitute x equals 0, and then we found the corresponding value of y. So this point definitely has to be on the line, because the number x equals 0 and the number y equals 3 together will satisfy the equation. Satisfy the equation means we'll make the left side of this equation is equivalent to 6. Now we have to find the other point. Okay, so to find the other point now, we substitute y by 0. So in the same equation here, we substitute y by 0. Then we'll have 3x equals to 6. We divide by 3, we will get x equals 2. So here, when y equals to 0, x equals to 2. So we have to write this in the table. So the second point has coordinates of 2 and 0. So we managed to find the 2 points with these 2 coordinates system, 0 and 3, 2 and 0. And then we will use the coordinate system to identify the locations of these 2 points. So we have to use a graph paper, and then we draw the x-axis, the y-axis, and then we can use this scale for the x-axis and y-axis. Each division is 2, so 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. To the left side we have -2, -4, -6. The same thing for the y-axis. But you may choose to different scale, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use 0, 5, 10. It's up to you, and it depends on the values that you have here. Okay. So you use a reasonable scale, so your graph will not be very big or very small. Okay. So for the first point with the coordinates 0 and 3, we have to locate it. So if we start from 0, since the x coordinate is 0, so we don't have to move right or left. The y coordinate is 3, then we will go up until we reach y equals 3. Then we draw a cross, and we write the labels or the coordinates of these points, which are 0 and 3. Now for the second point, with the coordinates 2 and 0, we start from the origin, we move along the x-axis, the positive x-axis, until we reach to 2. Since y coordinate is 0, then we don't have to move up and down. We just stop here at x equals 2, and we draw the cross. Then by doing so, we have already determined the locations of the 2 points on the coordinate system. The remaining is just use your ruler to connect the 2 points by a straight line, and you can extend the line from both sides like this, because this line can go up to infinity and minus infinity. So this is the line for the equation. Okay, so the equation 3x plus 2 y equals 6 has this graph. So this is called the graph of the equation. Well, you can see here this line intercept both x and y axis. So the intersection point between the line and the x-axis is called x-intercept, with the coordinates here in this example 2 and 0. And the intersection point between the line and the y-axis is 0 and 3. Here we have some practice problems. Sketch the following lines and identify x-intercept and y-intercept on the graph. So I will leave these practice problems for you. You can attempt them at home. And if you have any difficulty in solving these questions, we can discuss these during our class. Next class, we will be talking about slope-intercept form of linear equations. So I'll stop this video now, and I will record another video for this topic.